Another big round of applause for that wonderful piece. I feel like this microphone is obstructing me. You cannot see me, can you? Dumelang, sawubona, molweni, ndimadekwana, huian. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Welcome to this event. We are so honored to have you here tonight, and I would like to start with protocol, right? Let's get through that first. Your Excellencies, ambassadors, honorable minister, advisors to the minister, DGs, DDGs, MECs present, the mayors present, esteemed vice chancellors and other university representatives, respective government representatives, both past and present, learners and students, Mannya-Maxeke and Maxeke families, esteemed guests and colleagues, all protocol observed. Now, the purpose of this protocol, except for you, Honorable Minister, is that when each speaker comes to the stage, you can simply say all protocol observed. Otherwise, you're going to eat through that speech doing protocols. All right. So I'd like to wish you a very warm welcome to this 125th year celebration of Mannya-Maxeke's anniversary since she obtained her qualification. A big round of applause for that. Can you imagine 124 years now, because this is the official countdown to the 125 years next year, 20th of June, 2026. Can you imagine 124 years ago having obtained a degree? I'm sure those of us who are not even a thought by then would not have imagined having such privilege to access education. And to think how far ahead of her time Charlotte was. It's really such a privilege to be here this evening honoring her. And so let's honor Mannya-Maxeke in style, please. We're not at a funeral, right? Yes, we're not at a funeral. I want to see those smiles. I want to see the vibe. I want to see people happy and excited. All right, and so I will welcome at this juncture the person who's going to do the official welcome. Please prepare yourself to come to the stage. Dr. Hazel Nasipi Moya. A round of applause, please.
So, Prof, I feel like your enemies have sent you because only my enemies call me Hazel. I don't know what I did to you, but I apologize. So good evening, Minister, the MEC, the members of the mayoral committee, the government officials, members of the diplomatic corps, esteemed scholars, experts, representatives of the civil society organizations, the family of Mannya and family of Maxeke, and the community members that are here, and most importantly, the young people that are here today. My job is very simple today. I was given 10 minutes and I promised to save 1 minute. I'll keep to my promise. My name is Nasipi Moya. I have the honor of leading in the city of Tshwane as the executive mayor. Now, today has been, today has really been an emotional, day for me, just reflecting on what it means if Mannya-Maxeke would wake up and see us, what would she say about people like me? That 124 years ago, having a doctor, a girl who's a doctor, a girl who's a professor was unthinkable. But because she started the journey, and I was saying, Guma Florence from Kliptown, you can only have this legacy if you are not a coward. Because I'm saying, Guma Florence, if Mannya-Maxeke could do this during the most difficult time in our country, in our continent, what stops us today? And I'm very honored on behalf of the over 4 million residents of the city of Tshwane. Abantu base Tshwane, abase Pitori, Jacaranda City, Tshwane ya Mamelodi. We welcome you to our city, and we thank the Charlotte Maxeke Foundation for choosing us as the city of Tshwane as your partner. We had a very proud moment last week when we were hosting the U20 Sherpa meeting and the African Mayors Assembly, when the foundation was exhibiting the work about Mannya-Maxeke. And we said to the guests that came from all over the world, this is us, this is our story. And the story of Mannya-Maxeke captures the story of the brave. And that's us, right? So we thank you so much for choosing us as your partner. We are looking forward to the engagements today, but we want to assure you that as the leaders that are here, the leaders that have been lucky, because they are forgotten people in our communities. They talk about forgotten graduates. In Tshwane, we have over 30% of our residents who are graduates who have no jobs. They have no role in society. Those are the forgotten people that we must say, in honor of Mannya-Maxeke, there are things that must not continue if we have something to do with it. So on behalf of the city of Tshwane, I thank you so much for sacrificing your evening, but we are looking very much to partner with you and to converse with you this evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nasipi Moya. I hope I have redeemed myself. Thank you. Thank you so much. At this juncture, I would like to invite Mr. Trochi Musue. As we are all aware, Mannya-Maxeke was a person of faith. She was a woman of faith. And so I will call a representative from the AME church, the church that she represented, to come and give us a word of prayer before we proceed.
Certainly aligning ourselves with the protocol that has been established. But because we are a people of faith, acknowledging all faiths, beliefs, and religions, we must, as a people of faith, say, giving all glory and honor to God, who is the creator, sustainer, and author of our lives. And because we are AMEs, and in your words, program director, you said we are here to celebrate. And it is prior to that moment of celebration that before we can pray as AMEs, we must invite the Spirit. And so we beg your indulgence just for a moment to sing this hymn of the church. Lizale sidinga lakho Thixo Nkosi yenyaniso zonke inhlanga Gizizwe Izuze undiso Yalankosi ngadeli imfundiso ze Zwilakho uze Ngani soyako. Thank you so very much. Let us pray. Gracious, eternal, and merciful Father, from the rising of the sun to the setting of the same, you have been the same God, our creator, our author, our sustainer, and the finisher of our lives. So we come now, Heavenly Father, in a spirit of thanksgiving and celebration. Thanksgiving and celebration for this, your servant, one who many years ago answered a call when you had asked, in the midst of the trials and tribulations, in the midst of systemic oppression, whom shall I send? And she bravely said, here I am, Lord, send me. So we gather in this moment, in the shadow of that commissioning, to simply to ask you, may we too be Maxekes in our own right. May we too be sent where there is darkness to be light. May we too be sent where there is despair to be hope. May we too be sent wherever the world may need someone to be lifted up, to be that hand that will rise with someone else and make the world better. So bless us, keep us, establish the works of our hands, and lead us and lift us up to where we belong. In your precious name we pray. Amen.
Thank you very much, Remusue. You know, as he was speaking, I thought to myself, when he said, Umam Charlotte said, here am I, Lord, send me. And I thought to myself, she was much ahead of her time. She was already on the hashtag Tumamina back then. Can you believe that? Amazing, a pioneer indeed. At this juncture, I would like to invite Miss Ayanda Siboni to come and speak about the Forgotten Graduate. This is our representative from the PPS. Welcome to the podium.
Good evening, everybody. I am going to rely on the protocol that has already been established, and I'm going to give a bit of background as to PPS's involvement and how we got to the Forgotten Graduate. So the title, Finding the Forgotten Graduate, for me is curious because it implies we have to find something that is forgotten. But if it's forgotten, why must it be found? So this journey began for us during COVID, actually. And the insight that led us to explore this path was just how little was known about South African history, particularly by South Africans. So every year around this time, we remember June 16. Everyone wears uniform, we celebrate the youth. In my observation though, South Africans' history to the average person begins 1652, then there's Shaka Zulu if you're from KwaZulu-Natal, then there's apartheid, 1994. Our story is very, very linear. Our curriculum follows a similar pattern with a bit of European and American history sprinkled. But if you have to go beyond that, what was there? So PPS is an organization that looks after the financial well-being of graduate professionals. So we interact with students quite a bit. When we asked students about South African pioneers of color in particular, with an inclusion lens, the answers we were getting were nothing short of shocking. When we asked young people, when did South Africa get its first graduate of color? You'll be surprised that a lot of the students would say the 70s or the 80s. I know that a lot of young people think nothing happened before, they think they really think in the 70s there wasn't much that was going on. But if you pushed a little bit harder, and those who were really, really pushing themselves, they would push to maybe the 1950s. And this made it very clear that we needed to have our stories told, and we need our young people to internalize the fact that they stand on the shoulders of giants. And if people at the turn of the previous century could achieve what they did with the odds that they faced, so too can today's youth. So the project, Finding the Forgotten Graduate, was born. We partnered with our creative agency, Promise, to pull off this daring work and contracted some historians. Little did we know that we'd find a treasure trove of stories and great South Africans. We had so many people that we had to feature, but we eventually had to find people and institutions that were truly pioneering. So the next challenge was to tell their stories and bring them to life. And working with grainy pictures and there aren't even videos is quite challenging. And it's not easy, but South Africa doesn't lack talent. So we got artists involved to work on the images, and then we brought them alive and we told the stories. So you'd have seen the exhibition outside. There's a QR code. You can tell the stories of each of the graduates, and if you go to the full experience, you'll see some more of the detail. But as a good financial services provider, we had to bring a little bit of vectorial flair. So what did we do? We went and we worked out what the life insurance policy of William Anderson Soga, the very first graduate of color in South Africa, would have been worth. And that amount was 9 million rand. So we then put aside 9 million rand for what we've called the Pioneer Scholarship to honor these forgotten graduates. And I'm proud to say that at the end of this year, one of the very first recipients is going to be graduating with a physiotherapy degree. So we're very happy about that. But I guess you know that's where the story ends, right? But because we are long-term in our nature and we're so inspired by this, we decided to stretch ourselves even further and set ourselves on a long-term vision. So we called back the historians and we said, we need this work to live on. We need you to help us make this come alive and give it as a gift to South Africa. So we developed a CAPS-aligned curriculum for grade 11 under the South African nationalism topic. And this CAPS-aligned curriculum is there and it's ready, and we've got Mannya-Maxeke as well as the other pioneers being featured. And we've tested this content with academics and with the high school, JP High School, and they loved it. They think it's really, really great. So I know that in this room there are people from the Department of Education who can make this happen, and we would love to see these stories being part of the curriculum that is taught to our children in high school in South Africa. So for us, we always say success is better shared, and success is part inspiration, and we need to inspire these days and really give youth heroes, more heroes that they can look up to. So we say success is better shared, and this is the way that we share our success. Imagine a young child in the Cape Flats aspiring to be a psychologist, but being fearful of pursuing the career because they're thinking, am I going to get in? Am I going to make it? And then they hear the story of Sisi Gul, who did that almost 100 years ago. Just imagine the confidence and the courage that gives them when they know that they too can do it. Each of our pioneers has a story of inspiration, a story of triumph, and a story of great, true South African grit, because we are really gritty people. So I also want to take this opportunity to acknowledge the family of Dr. Pambata Benedict Vilakazi, who was one of our pioneers. In 1946, he qualified with a PhD and had worked at University of Witwatersrand, and he was never given the opportunity to be a full-on lecturer because of the prejudices of the past. So the family is here today, and I would like us to really just give them a round of applause to welcome them. Mannya-Maxeke Vilakazi, we welcome you and your family. So let's use this moment to remember who we are as South Africans. Let's inspire our youth and build the South Africa we dream of, and remind them that education builds skills, and a skilled nation is a prosperous nation. May each of us draw inspiration from the stories of the pioneers, and each of us honor Mama Charlotte Mannya-Maxeke by displaying the excellence that she displayed in everything that we do. Thank you so much to the Maxeke Institute for having us this evening.
A big round of applause, PPS. Thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Siboni. Allow me to digress a little bit. I would just like to acknowledge Her Excellency. Please apologize the pronunciation if I don't get this right. Ambassador Rasa, Republic of Lithuania, Ambassador Jarrah, Palestine, the Malawi High Commissioner to South Africa, Her Excellency Stella Ndau, Deputy High Commissioner Singapore, High Commission in Pretoria, Sudan as well, High Commissioner of Sudan, Venezuela, as well as Japan. A big round of applause, and thank you. Thank you so much for your support. Now, it gives me great pleasure to introduce our next speaker, who I am proud to call my colleague and friend, Dr. Zanele Matsani, a dedicated academic and researcher in construction engineering at the University of Johannesburg. With a decade in higher education, she champions the mentorship and empowerment of Black girls and women from disadvantaged backgrounds, equipping them with technical and professional skills to secure their place in society. She believes true inclusivity also requires training male counterparts to dismantle toxic traits and actively support women's inclusion. Through her work, she fosters a culture of awareness, allyship, and leadership, inspiring the next generation to break barriers and drive change in engineering. Women in STEM! A big round of applause, Dr. Zanele.
Okay. Now that the MC has added more to the protocol, I would like to say, all protocol observed, as updated. And thank you so much for having me. And today I have a fun job today. I'm going to take you not through memory lane, I'm taking you through the future. So, if those in the tech could join me as I speak. And here we go. So imagine it's 2035. That's 10 years from now. What do you think happens in 2035? I know those in government already have plans. And I'm hoping to influence those plans with my presentation. But it's 2035, and you're standing at the entrance of something extraordinary. Something once only dreamed of. Something built from memory, conviction, and courage. Can we have it rolling, please? Welcome to the Agri-City Development. Welcome to the Agri-City Development under Mama Charlotte's vision. It's for African women and future generations. You walk through the gates, and the first thing you hear is the sound of laughter and debate. Young girls in uniform discussing robotics, African literature, food security. You enter the Charlotte Maxeke School, or School of Excellence for Girls. It's more than a school, it's a movement. Here, Black girls are not just students. They are scientists, poets, engineers, presidents in training. Okay, it's not moving. All right, here we go. And you walk a little further, and then you smell soil. What is that soil? That's the Agri-City Innovation Farm, an ecosystem of food, climate, and entrepreneurship. Girls with sun hats are coding irrigation systems. Elders share wisdom under shades We're not just growing crops here. We are growing capacity, climate solutions, circular economies. And yes, we are feeding communities, not through dependence, but through dignity. We also have a residential area, by the way. Might just talk to me after, just let's get you in the development as soon as possible. You see these homes, they're neat, they're solar powered, they're sustainable. Each one tells a story. A grandmother raising her granddaughter while pursuing a degree, a single mother who teaches math during the day and grows herbs at night. A family free from shackled rent with a door to call their own. Then, at the heart of it all, you see the girls' school. What do you think? As PPS and Ms. Mannya-Maxeke mentioned, you want your children to know history. Well, they're going to know the history here. And unlike some of us, they'll be learning it in all the languages that they were born speaking. Unlike me, I have to always declaim that though my name is Zanele, I cannot speak Zulu or Xhosa because I had to go to a different school. And then at the end, we have the Maxeke Center for African Women in Research and Development. This is a library of memory, an archive of resistance, a lighthouse of feminist thoughts and African brilliance. Down the hall, young women are preserving oral history. Upstairs, researchers are building the future in Mama Charlotte's name. Are you there? Do you see it? How do you feel about it? Do you love it? Okay. But you didn't clap, so I don't know if you loved it. So what are we looking at? This is a vision in motion. We are working to bring to life breathing intergenerational development in her name. One that embodies the call for education, self-sufficiency, dignity, and freedom. That is the girls' school, the innovation hub, the residential village, and the research center, where young scholars research what the world has ignored, and that is us as Black women. Where we connect historical memory to policy, development, and transformation. This development is not just physical. It is intellectual, spiritual, intergenerational, and deeply Pan-African. But this is not just a dream floating in abstract. We have Black professional women as we speak, architects, planners, educators, historians, developers, and legal minds working around the clock to make this happen. In August 2025, we are convening a design and planning summit. At that summit, we will be working on we will workshop the blueprints, co-develop institutional mandates, and chart a clear path from conception to construction. We are not just talking. We are drafting, we are designing, and we are doing. But I must tell you something, let me be honest. I am currently experiencing an out of money experience. And strangely enough, I feel like I'm in the right room to discuss this. Because what we are trying to do is not small. It is not convenient. It's certainly not cheap. But it is right, it is urgent, and it is possible. So today, I want to make a request to help us, or ask all of you to help us realize the vision as we mark the 125 years in 2026. We need land. We need funding. We need brave partners who understand that legacy is not built by words alone. Mama Charlotte said when she was 22 years old in England, help us found the schools for which we pray. Then we could be sufficient unto ourselves. So we are no longer praying. We are planning. We are preparing the ground. Let the countdown to the 125 years not be another ceremonial calendar date. Let it be a construction deadline. Let it be the moment we
Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Zanele. A big round of applause for her. I told you, that's my friend. That's my friend. All right. I have a quick announcement here. I'm not sure if this is a J, L, or I, but it's BI03 MNGP, Nissan Qashqai. Your window is open. All right, please attend to that. Moving along with the program, the moment we've been waiting for. Before that, though, I would like to invite the DG because this task is a bit heavy for me. And so I'll ask the DG of Higher Education, Dr. Nkosinathi Sishi, to introduce our honorable minister, the keynote speaker. And so I will not come back to the podium after she has been introduced. So the next voice you will hear after the DG will be of the honorable minister, Dr. Sishi. A big round of applause for him, please.
Well, I must say, Program Director, this is a serious job. Especially that I've been introduced as Dr. Sishi, the Director General of the Department of Higher Education and Training. And I must say, the DG could not join us. Neither I aspire to be the DG. The only thing I do aspire is to introduce the minister. Dr. Nobuhle Pamela Kabane was appointed as a Minister of Higher Education and Training from 3rd July 2024. She was Deputy Minister of Mineral Resources and Energy from August 2021 to June 2024, following her election as a Member of Parliament in 2019. Dr. Nkabane earned a National Diploma in Commercial Administration, Business Administration, and Management from the Durban University of Technology in 2001. She obtained a Diploma in Youth Development and Youth Service from the University of South Africa in 2009. In 2011, she graduated from UNISA with a Bachelor of Arts degree in Humanities. She earned a Bachelor of Administration, Honors degree in Public Administration, a Master of Administration in Public Administration, and a Doctorate of Administration from the University of KwaZulu-Natal in 2019. In 2016-17, she completed a compliance management program at the University of Cape Town. In 2017, she obtained a Level 7 National Qualifications Framework qualification in Executive Development from the University of Stellenbosch Business School. She participated in the American African European Summer School in France. In 2020, she achieved a postgraduate diploma in labor law from the University of the Western Cape. Dr. Nkabane worked at the Mzimkhulu local municipality between March 2005 and November 2006. and as a youth coordinator at the Sisonke District Municipality from December 2006 to March 2012. She was a customer care manager from April 2012 to December 2017, and a director of water governance and customer care from January 2018 to May 2019 at the Herikwala District Municipality. Ladies and gentlemen, help me to welcome the Minister of Fire Education and Training, represented by Dr. Chitereke, who's an advisor to the Minister. I don't know, Minister, who's phoning me.
Thank you so much, DT Jimfalo. Greetings to everyone present here today. I see academics are here, women in academia, the mayor is here, Professor Buhlungu, and Prof. Andre is here. But it's very important for me as well to mention that all of us, we stand on the shoulders of the giants. I see Mama Batabile Dlamini, she's amongst us, and we are learning from them, and we grow as we learn, and we learn as we grow. I also see amongst us, there is my sister, Precious Banda. She's the convener of the young women in Africa and the continent. It's those women that we need to utilize, in particular in spaces like this. I also see there, on my far right, the Treasurer General of the African National Congress. He's a doctor, she's a doctor. It's the women that we learn from. Unfortunately, I'm not going to address. You can hear my voice. I have a flu. Then I've delegated Dr. Chitereke to then deliver my speech. But in short, I'm going to indicate that we took a sober decision as DHET, hence we are responsible for post-school education and training in South Africa, to scale the nation, to review curriculum, to make sure that we produce skills that are in need in our economy. We don't want to produce for the sake of producing or train for the sake of training, but we should also contribute to economic growth and development of the country. I would love to see in the near future us transitioning from that vision, from PowerPoint to reality. All of us, we should work together in ensuring that indeed this vision works. Allow me then to hand over to Dr. Chitereke to deliver my speech. I want to apologize sincerely. Thank you.
For some of us who are slightly elevated. As I get my gadget organized, I want to follow on the established protocols. And thank you to Reverend Musue for inviting the Holy Spirit. I feel the presence. I must say, this is one speech I would have loved to deliver in full academic regalia, because I'm convinced that it is exactly what Mama would have loved to see. Let me explain. It is a deep honor to stand before you today as we mark a historic and heartfelt beginning, the countdown to the 125th anniversary of Charlotte Mannya-Maxeke's extraordinary graduation, an event that not only shatters the limitations imposed by race, by gender, and by geography, but also a blueprint for the liberation of thought and action in our society. 6 days from this important evening, our country will be celebrating 70th anniversary of the Freedom Charter, which was adopted in Kliptown, the last home of our icon, who was regarded by her contemporaries as the mother of African freedom. The Freedom Charter played a significant role in shaping our country and had a profound influence in our constitution, which many across the world have come to regard as one of the best. Charlotte Maxeke was born on the 7th of April, 1871, and departed this world on the 16th of October, 1939, at the age of 68. Born in Fort Beaufort, Blankwater village in the Eastern Cape, then the Cape Colony, her father hailed from Butlokwa, Garamokgopa, in what is today Limpopo province. On his journey seeking greener pastures, a family. Then I'll round of applause to that. The seeds of a selfless, visionary leader, bold, fearless, and caring leader was planted, and we are still eating the fruits of that tree today. This moment is not just a remembrance, it is a reckoning. In June 2026, South Africa and the world will commemorate 125 years since Charlotte Maxeke became the first black South African woman to earn a university degree, which was a Bachelor of Science, no less, from Wilberforce University in Ohio in the United States of America. Today, as we launch the countdown to this historic milestone during Youth Month, we do so not only in her honor, but in honor of every trailblazer who has walked in her footsteps, often in silence, often in shadows. The young revolutionaries of 1976 uprising took a conscious decision to confront the brutal apartheid regime head on. Many lost their lives and futures, but in doing so, gave renewed energy and momentum to the emancipation of the oppressed. As we prepare to mark the 125th graduation anniversary of that inspire within regional or even singular narratives. Eastern Cape, the Limpopo, Johannesburg, but she transcends borders. Charlotte Mannya-Maxeke was an internationalist. She lived, she studied, and advocated globally. Her life intersected with the giants of her time, including Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois, who described her as, and I quote, a woman of rare intellectual power. Her leadership was not confined to race or gender. It was driven by principle. Whether she was founding the Bantu Women's League, attending the first ANC conference, or building Wilberforce Institute, she led with a global consciousness which was grounded in African liberation. We gather here today to elevate not just Charlotte Maxeke, but an entire cohort of forgotten graduates, brilliant minds like Benedict Vilakazi, Zainunisa Sisi Gould, William Anderson Soga, Alfred Mangena, Harold Cressy, Jotelo Festiri Soga, and Dr. Kairunisa Atalua, and others. Their names do not appear in our textbooks, nearly enough. But their legacies shape the very scaffolding of our education system, our justice movements, and our professions. These were the first doctors, the first lawyers, the first poets. And in my spare time, Honorable Minister, I pretend to be a poet. And public servants of color in our country. Today we say, we will not forget. We will historicize. We will celebrate. We must go beyond remaining buildings and quoting Charlotte Maxeke's stirring speeches. Yes, her words deserve Wallace. Yes, her name should grace roads, schools, and halls. But more than that, her values must shape our institutions. Her teachings must inform our pedagogy. Her legacy must live in our curriculum, in leadership programs, and in community development. That is why, together with the Charlotte Mannya-Maxeke Institute, the Department of Higher Education and Training, and I know this is what my sister is expecting me to make a pronouncement on, not as yet. The Department of Higher Education and Training is working to institutionalize their legacy through enduring projects like the Girls' School of Excellence and the Agri-City Integrated Development Initiative. I must underscore that these projects are not ceremonial. They are transformational. They bring together education, economic inclusion, STEM, leadership, environmental justice, and youth development in ways that are alive with her vision. This lecture comes at a time when graduate unemployment is a national concern. Young people are completing degrees, but many cannot find work. This disconnection between learning and livelihoods is a national crisis and a call to action. Charlotte Maxeke believed that education was not just for personal gain, but it was for the upliftment of the community. Our challenge is to realign education with empowerment. This is the spirit of the Forgotten Graduate Lecture, to draw wisdom from those who came before us and ignite action in those who are yet to come. Today, I issue a call to all universities and colleges. House Charlotte Maxeke's story, not in plugs, but in people. Build their values into leadership programs. Include her life in your orientation sessions. Let every student know that this country's first black female graduate was a Pan-Africanist, a theologian, an activist, an intellectual long before these words were popularized. Let her be the measure. Let her be the mirror. In her spirit, we rise. As we celebrate this countdown to her 125th anniversary, let us not simply remember Charlotte Maxeke. We must become what she stood for. Let us become the institutions that uplift. Let us become graduates who serve. Let us become leaders who listen. Let us become a country that refuses to forget. And towards the success of this event, I wish to thank the generous contribution of the Fiber Processing and Manufacturing Sector Education and Training Authority, led by the capable hands of Dr. Feleng Yende. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chitereke, Honorable Minister, thank you very much for your vicarious speech. You also pointed out to me, you know the disadvantages of being this height and also not having my second pair of eyes, my glasses. I had to look when you mentioned that Umam Damini is here and Sis Precious Banda. I had to look. Thankfully, they're sitting in the same place. And so, using my powers as the program director, I would like to send you a shout out. Shout out, phenomenal ladies, leaders. A big round of applause for them, please. We are now moving on to the panel segment, where we will be dissecting the forgotten graduates. Allow me to welcome on stage the panel members. Prof. Veronica Ntia, Female Academic Leaders Fellowship. Prof. Andrea Keats, please forgive me if I'm not saying it. Okay. Deputy Vice Chancellor, Nelson Mandela University. Prof. Heidi, I don't even want to attempt that one. Kronebon. All right. Writer and scholar, the Center for Humanities Research, University of the Western Cape. Professor Sakela Buhlungu, Vice Chancellor, University of Fort Hare. Ms. Sibongiseni Ngoma, CA South Africa, Head of Audit, Office of the Auditor General. Please take a seat on the stage. Pardon? Oh, one more chair. Technical team, one more chair, please. Thank you very much for taking your places, panel members. So at this point, I would like us to have an engaging discussion surrounding the 9 forgotten graduates, and of course also riding on the foundation of the keynote speech. Each of you will have 5 minutes maximum, please. I know there's a lot to say, but I'm sure if you do the math, you'll realize that's 25 minutes. So I implore you to be as short as I am. All right. Thank you very much. If you see me waving in the back, then you know. All right. Whoever would like to start, go ahead.
Good evening. I think this one is on. Thank you very much. I'm Veronica Nsia, Mwanama Mabulo, if I may say so, because Nsia is the name I inherited. But the key thing to note is, with this 5 minutes, I would like to highlight Dr. Vilakazi, and I would also want to highlight Charlotte Maxeke, and I would also want to emphasize the medical graduates, the first medical graduates, because we were asked to choose, because we're not going to go through all of those. So I chose the 3 to say, as an academic, they said I'm from FARF, which is Female Academic Leaders Fellowship. It was founded by Dr. Dlamini, Vice Chancellor, who was supposed to be here. So as the interim president of the association, she has asked me to come speak on her behalf. She's in Ethiopia at the moment and sends her regards. But the key thing to note here is to focus on Dr. Vilakazi. As I was reading about Dr. Vilakazi, I asked people around me, do you know who Dr. Vilakazi is? Because we always say we're going to Vilakazi Street in Soweto. but very few people know who Vilakazi is, and that is even Dr. Vilakazi that we're honoring today as one of the forgotten graduates. Dr. Vilakazi having done a PhD, and when I looked at the fact that he did a PhD at Wits, I've been at Wits for 24 years now, and I look at it, and I felt like we need to do something to honor his legacy, because the things he has achieved, if he was here today, he would have been a professor, having developed that Zulu English dictionary and having made meaningful contribution. He didn't just study, he also made meaningful contribution, because sometimes we do masters or PhD, and when you look back, or you get even to professorship, but then when you look back, you want to ask yourself, what have I made to change the lives of the people? Because now, when you look at the things he did, he made a huge impact. And a legacy, as the keynote address was emphasizing the importance of not just focusing on the building, naming people or having a statue. We need to have them make a difference in the lives of people. And I was sitting there thinking, our Vice Chancellor is Professor Vilakazi. Does it mean that we sort of honoring him? It's not something that happened by design. So as I was coming here thinking, we have Dr. Vilakazi, who was not honored so much, and now we have our Vice Chancellor, who's Professor Vilakazi. I think going back, because we were asked to also indicate how we should be honoring these heroes. And then the key thing I was thinking about is going back is about language. We had Africa Day recently, and we are talking about the importance of honoring our African languages, because he also focused a lot on language. So going back, we'd also want to emphasize, we know we cannot teach in Zulu, Sepedi, and Setswana, but we also still need to honor that, even in our homes, because there are times when a teacher would say, speak English to your child at home, they're struggling to grapple with the academic program. And I always say, no, they'll do English at home. I also want them to know Sepedi, Setswana, or Sizulu. So we need to also make sure that we have that language as our heritage, and make sure we don't pride ourselves in the fact that our children only speak English, they don't know Sesotho. And I always say to students, I do not speak, that English that comes in as, people would say, professor. But yeah, your English, I'm not a professor of English. My professorship, yeah. My professorship is in stroke rehabilitation. Let's talk about stroke, then I'll flow. Yes, but not English. And I always say to the students, the same applies to you. Don't feel little when you stand and you speak English the way it's undermined, and maybe you feel that maybe you're not a good academic, and sometimes you call them to the front to present, and they don't have the confidence because they come from a school where they were not speaking English every day. So I think in honoring Dr. Vilakazi, we need to decolonize our minds and embrace our languages and not use English as a milestone or indicator of intelligence. Because I always say to the students, somebody has just a lot of nonsense in English. Yes, but we feel like they are very intelligent, but if you listen to content, there's no depth. So as we honor Dr. Vilakazi, we need to do that. But then I also say, for Mannya-Maxeke, so I don't know how many minutes I've gone through now.
Prof.
It's 5 minutes over.
Professor, lecture.
Okay.
Lecture.
All right, but we honor Mannya-Maxeke as well. Let me hand over the mic and respect. We'll have an opportunity to speak again.
Thank you, Prof. A big round of applause, please.
Hello, everybody. My name is Andre, and all protocol observed. I had like a funny feeling because I wasn't sure whether the program director was calling out the registration number of my car. Whilst the minister was being introduced, it made it was impossible for me to leave this venue in any case to go and check if the car is okay. But hopefully everything will be fine. It will be fine. But on behalf of our university, we stand in admiration, not only because of the unforgotten graduates, but also because of the work being done to honor them. It's amazing. There is a pulse in one's soul if you attend an event like this that can't be intellectualized, you can't think academically about it. There's only affect and there's a sense of pride, you know, and a sense of hope, of course, for where we're going. So, Minister, the speech, very, very well received, and your messages amazingly consistent. The linkages between the university, our post-school sector, and the question of skills and development, as of course also being reflected upon in the work of the unforgotten graduates as well. The linkage between our various historical milestones, whether it's Youth Month, the Freedom Charter, many others to come as well, because there is a sense that one has to draw on this particular history, the massive, massive platform on which we stand as a nation, you know, that needs to be reflected upon as we move ahead. And I like the idea of not simply names, but also the idea of curriculation values, which of course as Mandela University is very crucial for us, because we try to carry that particular name with such a sense of responsibility, which of course I think it's also, precisely the orientation of the Maxeke Institute. So it is just great. So very, very excited by the fact that the Institute has invited us on this partnership. I've checked in with the colleagues as well that the work actually being done is in play, and that we will walk this journey with the Institute, not simply for the question of remembrance, but for how we draw onto envisioning this particular future that was presented earlier on. Now, next year, our university will deliver its first medical graduates. Now, of course, there of course is no doubt as to who would be the unforgotten graduate that we would choose, and that would be Dr. William Anderson Soga. Just amazing. Now, of course, the strange thing about our university's medical school, which has been massively supported by the Minister's Office and the department, of course, is that it's the 10th medical school in our country. It's located in a township. It serves the students already from the first year of working. They engage with the social reality of South African life and South African people as well. And that places itself, almost at the forefront in the context of medical education in South Africa. So we're looking, as the minister's speech indicated, and also the prof here, we're looking at the way in which the idea of a Mandela doctor can emerge. A doctor rooted in the life of his or her communities, Pan-Africa's international, Africanized in different kinds of ways. Now you can imagine the life of Dr. Anderson William Soga and the work and the path that he has crafted. Now, Dr. Mayonse from UCT, of course, who tragically passed on, has written about the early black doctors who studied abroad and the pioneering work they have done in the medical field. And as the program director approaches the podium, let me then confirm our university's commitment to the project being put before us, the responsibility being given to us, and we will certainly respond in a way befitting the call of a higher education institution. So many, many, many thanks.
Thank you.
I think I can go next. And greetings, everyone, and all protocol observed. It's a privilege and an honor for me to be part of this conversation this evening. Such a delight to be among the professors, noting that I am not one, but perhaps it's prophetical that I need to work at enhancing myself, so I will take that call to action. Also following on the footsteps of Mannya-Maxeke in terms of what she has achieved. So I'll reflect on two things. One, on the graduates within my sector. Of course, my sector is the accounting and the auditing sector. And Minister, you are one of my stakeholders together with your DGs and the DDGs. It's a pleasure that you are here and we are engaging on the values that Mannya-Maxeke lived by. So I will reflect on the firsts in my sector that were inspired by who Mannya-Maxeke was. The first that broke their ceilings and were determined to be their firsts. That is Professor Nkuhlu. I think we all know about Professor Nkuhlu, who became the very first male chartered accountant. He also then inspired the very first female chartered accountant, Nonkululeko Goboto. Then there was a snowball effect in the whole profession. We all got inspired. I read about the story of Mama Nonkululeko when I was 12 years old in 1987. And I told myself that I am also going to break my own ceiling. Many ceilings were then broken in the profession. Notably, Tsakani Maluleke, I think you know about her. She became the very first female auditor general ever in the 100 years of the history of the office. We didn't leave it at that. At the office, we produce what we call the first chartered accountants. It is the first in their families to be chartered accountants, first in their townships, first in their villages to be chartered accountants. Of course, we are learning from the determination and the resilience of the first that precede us, who took on the spirit of Mannya-Maxeke and who did not want to play by the rules of the industry, who broke the ceilings that laid in front of them. The last part I want to reflect on in the interest of time, which touched me, Minister, as you unpacked your keynote, is how do we take on then the values of Mannya-Maxeke and build on them? In particular, I'm going to reflect on the sector that we audit. I won't dwell much. I won't talk about the audit findings. I think all of us can reach out to the websites and also just go back on YouTube. The Auditor General just tabled her report most recently. We all can access the findings. But I want us to probe ourselves to say, how can we gain insight and leverage of the legacy of Mannya-Maxeke? And what is a legacy? A legacy is something that was instigated by her success. But that legacy must be maintained by significance. She did not leave it where she was just successful, but she was determined to add value in others' lives. And what can we do in our various sectors, therefore, in adding values in others' lives, in leveraging off Mannya-Maxeke's legacy by addressing and having an impact in changing the status quo and in addressing the modern challenges of this day. And I was inspired by that school of excellence. I think it does touch on addressing some of the modern challenges that we're experiencing. And one of those challenges in our sector, of course, is a public service that is not performing, or that is performing below its bar, or in some cases, the performance is so uneven. Local government, Mayor, I'm happy you are here. We do know that the state of local government is dire, and the major problem statement in local government is the institutional capability that is lacking. And how can we leverage off the values of Mannya-Maxeke in ensuring that we professionalize public service? Because the problem statement of lack of delivery of services for the forgotten that you talked about when you were giving us your opening remarks, Mayor, is centered squarely at lack of service delivery. But what is the root cause of that lack of service delivery? Is the absence of institutional capability. How can we therefore leverage off these leadership courses that we all aspire to also join in, usher in, as it was said in the keynote speech, that we should design leadership programs that address the problems of today? How can we ensure that we drive the professionalization framework, which was approved by Cabinet in 2022? It's in place, it's approved. How do we then bring it to life to ensure that in public service we hire those that have got the skill, we hire those that qualify, those that have got the know-how. Once we have brought them in, then we lead them, and then we implement the performance management frameworks that will ensure that we hold them accountable when they do not deliver. And I see that my time is almost up, but
It is up, ma'am.
in liberating off, let
Your
us professionalize public service.
You have taken the next speaker's time. All right.
Good evening. I'm Heidi Grunneboom. It means green tree. I'm from the Center for Humanities Research at the University of the Western Cape. I took in my analog way to writing my thoughts so that I could stay within my, I thought, 7 minutes. But I will, I will jump to the chase and try and keep to 5 minutes. So the Center for Humanities Research in 2020 turned to the legacy of Charlotte Mannya-Maxeke, and there's a very poorly executed, because it was under my hand, and as I say, I'm analog, PowerPoint. We turned to the legacy of the ideas, the values, the visions that Charlotte Mannya-Maxeke stood for and lived for. As a Pan-Africanist, as a feminist activist, as an educator, as a humanitarian welfarist, as a spiritual person, as a choral vocalist, as an intellectual, as a thinker of the African liberation, before even the establishment of the oldest liberation movement in our country. She stands as a Renaissance woman. She was a transatlantic thinker, influenced deeply by her teacher and his wife, W.E.B. Du Bois and Nina Goma Du Bois, thinking into civil, political, gender, and other forms of justice at a time when that vocabulary, as others have noted, did not appear. So we, at the Center for Humanities Research, we've drawn the arts into the center of our intellectual inquiries, precisely because the apartheid state did not allow the University of the Western Cape a fine arts program. And so we turned to our resident art, puppetry arts company, the Ukwanda Puppetry and Design Collective. And with them, and under the authorship of theatre maker Buhle Ngaba, the directorship of Itumelengwa Lehulere, created a production across 3 years of research that drew on Dr. Tozame April's groundbreaking, and she's a UWC graduate, a former fellow of our center, her groundbreaking PhD research, as well as the work of intellectual writer and journalist, another iconic figure who's with us here in the audience tonight and will be speaking to us, Zubaydah Jaffer. We drew from the existing research to develop a full-length puppetry production that was performed in January, February 2023 at the Star Theatre at the District 6 Museum, to great public acclaim. It worked with the the script worked on the life of Maxeke, highlighting her ideas, highlighting her political activism in Europe, in North America, and in South Africa, highlighting and elevating her as a worldly, transatlantic, Pan-Africanist thinker, but also as a local woman, someone who's of here, who's from here, and whose story speaks to the hearts of the generations that come after us. Through the support of ASITEJ, which is a theatre organization cultivating theatre and arts in the youth, we were sponsored to bring more than 250 young people from Khayelitsha, from Mitchell's Plain, from Languedoc in the Winelands, from the rural town of Barrydale in the Klein Karoo and central Cape Town to attend the performances. And some of you would see some of the images with learners on stage, exposing young people precisely to the spirit, the commitment that others who have spoken before have highlighted for us tonight. At around the time of the performance, we were in conversation with the Irish Embassy in Pretoria, and of course with Tula Sizwe and with the CMMI, to establish the Charlotte Maxeke Mary Robinson Research Chair, a transatlantic, transhemispheric endeavor to engage with our variously shared but differently inheritances of colonialism, empire, partition, and apartheid, and to establish, under the banner of Charlotte Mannya-Maxeke at the start of the 20th century, and the former Irish president, also another Renaissance woman, Mary Robinson, at the end of 20th century, to create an exchange of postgraduate students and of intellectuals, artists, and university scholars to move between South Africa and Ireland in pursuit of this comparative and shared endeavor, to think about what does it mean to build a creative vision through the arts, through the humanities, for a society beyond the kinds of inheritances of destruction that continue to bedevil our own society, not to reduce it to just that. So if I could just end off by saying that, so the Charlotte Maxeke, my time is up. The chair was launched at the Zeitz Mocker Museum of Contemporary African Art in Cape Town. And just to say, through these endeavors in higher education, through research, pedagogy, and cultural production, Charlotte Maxeke's ideas, values, and commitments are blossoming at UWC and beyond. In fact, you'll hear her name spoken in Dublin and beyond as Charlotte Maxeke, which is very charming. And before I'm kicked off the mic, to say that I haven't asked permission from my university, but I would like to share, better share and then apologize after, to say that the Center for Humanities Research has submitted a motivation to our university to award Charlotte Mannya-Maxeke an honorary doctorate posthumously. And with your permission, Chair of the program, if this is awarded, I would very much hope that this beautiful exhibition you have shown us today could be brought to Cape Town, to UWC, as part of acknowledging and celebrating the life of these graduates.
Thank you very much. My name is Sakela Bohlungu from the University of Fort Hare, and maybe just to close the loop, my colleagues here have spoken about Charlotte Maxeke, about the other graduates, but just to close the loop by connecting two dots, very important dots here. When Charlotte Maxeke went overseas and when she graduated in 1901, there was no provision for education for black people in the country. All these people that have mentioned, Soga, the two Sogas, including the father earlier, actually, and many, many others, studied overseas. That was the one channel for black people to access education. And the connection, the two dots therefore are this, that the reason, the rationale for the creation, establishment of Fort Hare was precisely to address this question and to make education accessible to a much wider group of people. A much wider group of people. And who did it take to do this? It took some of the early black intellectuals themselves as well as the missionaries. And so they had these conferences. The last one, the most important one, was called an interstate college conference in 1905, which took that decision to establish Fort Hare. And many people, I'm not sure, Maxeke was not there at that conference, but she had come back by that time. She had come back. But there are many others. So basically, if you like, there's that energy of young people, the intellectual power, that was kind of dispersed and channeled overseas. And of course, it was a small grouping of selection of people who, by dint of having access to this or that other missionary society, could then be afforded a bursary to study overseas. And so a decision was taken in 1905, and Fort Hare came into being in 1916 with 20, all at once, 20 students, right? 20 students, including 2 white students and 2 women, and the rest being black men, black as in colored, Indian and African. That's who Fort Hare was created for. So, Maxeke graduates in 1901. She comes back, she channels that energy. She plows back, to use a term, plows back in the country and becomes the activist that everyone has spoken about. And of course, on the other side, the Fort Hare fruits begin, or rather Fort Hare begins to bear fruit. 1924, 1923, the first cohort of graduates complete their studies in 1924, and we celebrated this. Z.K. Matthews graduated exactly 101 years ago. We celebrated 100 years last year. So that's that. As a result, you begin to see the tide turning. And young people are now channeled not to Scotland, not to London, and not to the United States, but they're channeled to the Eastern Cape, to Alice. And the numbers grow from that modest kind of 20, and they grow and they grow and they grow. And so all that power and that activist kind of power that you found in Maxeke, that you found in Soga, that you found in all these others who had studied overseas, suddenly was now concentrated and gathered and in Alice. And such is the story, therefore, of Fort Hare. The iconic Fort Hare that people celebrate is because of that turn, or those turns of history that ended up with Alice being the destination for young people. The destination. So there is a connection, there's a very, very important connection, therefore, that once you divert that flow of young minds, you divert them from Scotland, from London, from this and other destination overseas. You channel it to Fort Hare. And that was the beginnings of the revolution. Now, I just want also to say, Maxeke was the first woman graduate ever in this country. And women in higher education remained a minority. The first intake at Fort Hare was 2, and many of them were doing matric. And the first graduate of woman graduate was Gertrude Ntlabati in 1927 only. They remained a minority. But fast forward to today, and Maxeke would, if she were to wake up today, she would just stand there in awe of the revolution, the real revolution. At Fort Hare today, women constitute about 59-60% of our student body. at Fort Hare today, at any graduation, women constitute about 60% of graduates. And Maxeke would be most proud of this one. At Fort Hare, at any graduation ceremony, of all the cum laudes or distinctions, about 60% are women. And that's really the story here. I should just say then, talking about those graduates, that, what's the thing? The forgotten graduates. From our side and from that side of the world, from that side of the mountain, we can name many, because some of their paths came to end up at Fort Hare. DDT Jabavu, the first black teacher from 1916, from inception, had studied in England. And he became, together with Alexander Oker, became one of the first two staff members, the first two. They set up, two men set up that thing to become what it was. But there are many others. Minister, you'll be interested that we're very appreciative. We've been given authorization to go ahead and establish a veterinary science faculty. Yeah. And we're moving with it. And in planning, and the Veterinary Council was with us last week to plan, and so we're at full speed right now. And in thinking about it, we started doing our research. And our research tells us, talk about the forgotten graduate, the first, not black, the first veterinarian in the country, not white, not black, the first was Jotelo Festiri Soga in 1886. In 1886, also in Scotland. And again, think of it this way. When rinderpest, the animal, the cattle disease, was ravaging herds throughout the country, he stood out. But he was made an assistant veterinarian. But he stood out as one of the main kind of line of defense between that what you call epidemic and survival of communities. The only next veterinarian that qualified was about 1912 only. And so we have all of these people, and I think it's important that we tell these stories to younger people, and so that they can see the connections, and that therefore part of, and I'm ending here, program director, and part of my being at Fort Hare, and I won't be there for much longer. I'll be done with 10 years. I'll have done my 10 years. Part of me is to make sure that the legacy remains. We stabilize the institution. We remove the stigma of instability, which we have. We have not had student strikes in the last 5 years. That's the issue. And that's, for us, the best way to honor Charlotte Maxeke. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prof. Buhlungu and fellow panel members, for those great insights. Could we please give them another round of applause? Thank you. Allow me to use my powers to postpone that Q&A to the networking session, please. And at this juncture, I would like, please stay on stage as you are preparing to leave. We have a few items prepared for you. Another big round of applause for the panel members. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, moving on with the program. At this juncture, I would like to invite a reading by Dr. Zubeida Jaffer. Dr. Zubeida Jaffer, please ascend to the podium. And before you give her a round of applause, I just want to encourage you, let me not say commission, but encourage you, Dr. Jaffer. I'm in good company because I see we are more or less the same height. And so should be the reading as well, I hope, right? I know those of our height have a tendency to compensate, but please, Dr. Jaffer, you will see me when you see the signal, please. All right, a round of applause, Dr. Jaffer.
Oh, yeah. Maybe I should Yeah, it's really awkward to be hidden by this podium, but let me try and cope with it. Molweni, good evening to everybody. I'm very, very happy to be here. As we said, all protocols are observed. My job is to tell you a little bit about the latest book I've done, which is called Becoming Charlotte. In 2016, I published the biography of Mum Charlotte. And it was a great honor for me to spend 3 years before that to research and to write at the University of the Free State the story, to weave together the story of this great woman. And after, that was in 2016, very soon after that, at the end of the year, the Charlotte Mannya-Maxeke Institute was born. And I think we must give a round of applause to the family, because this is one of the most amazing legacy projects that we have seen a family embark upon. So Tulas, where are you and your team? You have done so great. Thank you. I had prepared a little clip, which is 2 minutes. We'll just quickly play it if it is available. And then I'm just going to read, I'm going to cut out everything else that I wanted to say, and I'm going to read a short extract from the end of this book. So, is the video available? The bird depicts our country's national bird, the blue crane, also known as Indwe in Zulu and Xhosa, Mogolodi in Sepedi, Blaukransvoël in Afrikaans, to mention a few of our languages. Indwe features in the story, which imaginatively weaves the tale of a 12-year-old Charlotte's efforts against great odds to become our country's first indigenous female graduate. The bird's feather appears as a symbol of bravery, dignity, and elegance. Indwe is often viewed as a messenger between the physical and spiritual realms. In our country, there is a strong belief that when Indwe enters your life as a spirit teacher, it signifies that you should draw strength from your past to navigate the present. 13th century philosopher Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyah has expanded the meaning of the cover for me. He compared the heart's journey to a bird in flight. The head is love, directing the heart towards the Creator. One wing is hope, carrying the believer forward with optimism. And the other wing is fear, ensuring vigilance and discipline. For the bird to soar, all three must work in harmony. In times of failure, hope lifts up the believer. In times of ease, fear prevents complacency. And through it all, love remains the guiding force, orienting the heart towards the ultimate goal of oneness with the Creator. Charlotte was a young woman of faith, and like a bird, she flew towards her destiny. As we stand on the cusp of the Third World War, let us draw strength from her story and face our challenges bravely as she did hers.
Thank you. Before I read the words that is towards the end of this book and appropriately deals with her graduation, because this story starts with her as a 12-year-old girl in the Eastern Cape, and it takes her, I imagine her life until she graduates in 1901. The biography is a complete story of her life. This is from 12 till when she graduates in 1901. And before I do that, I just want to say to Professor Buhlungu that you said there's a revolution that has happened. Now, when I was working on this book, I was very keen to know how many female graduates we have in the country at the moment. And because it started with this one, and where are we now? And you know that it was very difficult to find that information. I looked and I looked and I looked, and eventually I had to get somebody to assist. And we don't have prior records, pre-94. We don't have proper records at all. So don't say that they handed us a good, well-run country. There were no records of the graduates. And secondly, our records only started in the year 2000. And what I could find, it ended in 2022. So 22 years. And I can share that with anybody who wants it. The number of female graduates, and I usually get people to try and guess, but the number of female graduates on that record is over 2 million. Let's cheer for all of us. I didn't believe it to such an extent. I was nervous. I thought, let me check this. So I phoned Professor Salim Badat. I phoned various other people. And I said, is this factually correct? Why is there not a fuss being made about it? Why does nobody fuss about it? And they said to me, no, it is correct. But nobody talks about it. So over 2 million women, just for those years, and about 1,500,000 men for that period. Okay? So, Professor, that is the numbers we have, and I think it's something that we should be exceptionally proud of. So, because of the time problem we have tonight, I will not be saying anything, only to conclude. Allow me to read a few paragraphs that describe Mom Charlotte on her graduation day 124 years ago. And I had to print it out in 14 point because, otherwise I can't read it. Dear reader, Charlotte took me across the seas to visit Wilberforce University, and they helped me piece together her time there. I was able to get both the program of her graduation day and a photograph of her, which you see now all over. At first I thought I would leave this to your imagination, but then I thought, let me at least give you a sense of the place and the time in which she studied and try to faithfully recreate that day as best I could. My mind went to the historic day. Go there with me, dear reader, and see Charlotte slipping into a long white flowing dress with a lace bib across the bosom. Her friend Nina Goma, who became the wife of the famous Edward du Bois, a teacher, one of the students with whom she shared the university dormitory, was doing the same. Observe that both young women had a thin strip of black ribbon knotted like a bow tie around the high-collared white dress. Magenta, white and black were their class colors. Their sleeves were puffed from their shoulders to their elbows, with the lower sleeve tapered tightly down to their wrists. Watch Nina pin a carnation, their class flower, to Charlotte's waistline, and see her step back and saying, "Look at you." See Charlotte turning to gaze at herself in the mirror. Her hair was short, but had a little bounce on the top like Saul's hair, Saul Plaatje, who is in the book. Soon the two friends wander out and take a short walk before joining their class at the main hall. The pathway was sculpted around small areas of lawn, dotted with well-manicured bushes. The dormitories, classrooms, dining hall, and main hall were arranged in the shape of a horseshoe. I'd read up that the campus had been a former health resort hotel, Tawawa Springs, known for its natural springs, beauty, and farmland. The trees were no longer bare as they had been through the autumn and winter months. They towered high above the buildings all around the campus, creating a cozy, protected space. Their lecturer, Professor Edward du Bois, had told them that Tawawa was Shawnee for clear or gold water, a Native American word, Shawnee word. Watch them head towards the main hall, milling around with others of their class. Then at exactly 10 a.m. on June the 20th, 1901, see their principal, Professor Calhoun, lead the procession into the hall. He stopped at the front row of chairs and waited until they had all taken their seats. He then moved onto the stage and took his place behind the podium. I leave the rest of the pages for you to read yourselves. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jaffer. A big round of applause for her once more. Allow me to give two more shout-outs. We have Dr. Beka Zulu in the house, CEO of Tshwane Automotive Special Economic Zone. A big round of applause, please. We also have Advocate Nakedi Ribani. Please, a big round of applause for her. By the way, newsflash, this is a phenomenal woman who became an advocate at 59. Now, in a society that, praises people who have done things first, I think that's phenomenal, setting such an example that it's never too late. A big round of applause for her. At this point, we are moving on to messages of support. And please, if I have to dance this time, I will. Please keep it very short. I'm not even going to say 5 minutes, 3 minutes. True to what support means. It's ancillary. It's not the main course. It's just a message of support, right? Reinforcement and reiteration. And so I would like to call upon first our host, the CEO of the Pretoria Innovation Hub, to come and give us that message of support. A big round of applause. Mr. Mpangalasani. Oh, Dr. Mpangalasani. Please. I need to go and have a chat with those who wrote this program for me. Thank you, Doc.
No, thank you very much, Program Director. Good evening. Mangale molweni ke. Dumela. Le guy. Goeie aunt. Who handed? All right. One of the things, Honorable Minister, I was almost fired by not observing protocol because I just jumped into the message of support. Maybe before that, distinguished guest, I've realized that this podium we must have, so we are able to adjust for other members who we are unable to. It's innovation hub, so we must innovate. We must innovate in that. I'm not going to do a lot of. It was very clear that you've got 3 minutes, so and the list I have here, it's distinguished guests. That's why it was important that I'm addressed accordingly as Dr. Prof. But colleagues, Honorable Minister, it is really an honor to have your presence here today at the Innovation Hub. Distinguished professors, the academia sector, partners in the private and public sector present here today. I see we've got students here, which is good. We've got the innovation ecosystem partners who are present here today. We've got media representative and distinguished guests. I'm not going to waste time on this, but I think it is important maybe one to acknowledge that the first woman of color in South Africa to earn a master's in psychology and led historic political social reforms. We can all salute. Zenyonisa Sisikul. I think it is important for me. After I've mentioned their name, I can sit down. The first black South African to earn a PhD and a pioneer in blending Zulu literacy tradition and Western forms. Dr. Vilakazi. He's saying salute. Jotela Soka was the country's first veterinary surgeon and instrumental in controlling death during the pest outbreak. And we're saying salute. William Anderson Soga, not sure if they are related, but if they are, it was the first black South African medical doctor and made significant strides in combating tuberculosis and advancing education. We're saying salute. We're also saluting Harold Chris. He was the first black graduate of a South African university and a trailblazer in educational activism. We're saying salute. The first South African of color with law degree and the founding figure of Pan-African movement, Alfred Mangena, we're saying salute. Dr. Kanyisa Hava Atula was the first woman of color in South Africa to earn a medical degree and inspired progress in healthcare and education. Saying salute again. Mama Charlotte Maxeke was the first black South African woman with a university degree and a pioneering activist for women's rights and education, and he's saying salute. For me, it is with great pleasure, distinguished guest, as I'm delivering this message of support, and it is the deep respect for the Innovation Hub to be given this opportunity to host such a gracious event. The Innovation Hub, by its nature, we are situated in a knowledge axis. What it means we foster the academia, the private sector government, and we foster innovative solutions to resolve societal challenges. We take research from ideology. We build that research into a product type to a point where it becomes commercial and it resolves societal challenges. So it's not by mistake that the relationship between what is happening today is at the Innovation Hub. Honorable Minister, Visionary Leadership, a few years ago, they decided that there should be an innovation hub. We are not a Pretoria innovation hub, but we are an innovation hub that provides solutions, innovative solutions. Our primary focus now, responding on government outcomes. We are focusing on digital economy. I'm glad youth is here. How do we utilize digital economy to resolve societal challenges? We focus on bioeconomy. Our indigenous knowledge, profs, we anchor the bioeconomy. We've got laboratories in the sector. The Innovation Hub, where we are seated here, is a 60-hectare park. It's the first science and technology park accredited in Africa. We have a high-value tenant here at the park. We've got laboratories, we've got product development labs. Young people are developing high-end innovative solutions here at the park. We are not only here, we are scattered across the Gauteng province, as the Gauteng provincial government decided to establish such an establishment. Mama Charlotte Maxeke was a pioneer in every sense, as the first black South African woman to earn a university degree. As we are seated here, we've got professors and doctors, and I remember when we had a first encounter with Executive Mayor then, you were a deputy mayor then, and you came to the Innovation Hub, and very few months then you are an executive mayor. It's not by mistake. Congratulations, Executive Mayor. Her courage opened doors not only for women, but for all those who have ever been told their dreams were too bold or their ambitions they are too great. Imagine a small township boy with no hope, sometimes with no food, sometimes with societal challenges facing our own townships and rural areas. But it is through stories like this where you see a first woman under the difficult situations that when we read and we tell such stories, then you find such a young man like myself becoming a PhD graduate leading an institution like this, having 5 clean audits executive with 100% performance. Her life reminds us, it's not about me, I'm just indicating so that the young men sitting there with no hope, they can understand. This anniversary for us as the Innovation Hub is more than a commemoration, it's a call to action. A reminder to continue investing in education, empowering young minds, and fostering inclusive environments where excellence can flourish. As we celebrate the graduates and change makers of today, we honor all the heroes, Mannya-Maxeke, during the vision, one dignity, progress, and hope. We don't want to end up here. As the Innovation Hub Executive Mayor, I hope we will come back again. This place is called Auditorium 1 and 2. It's not correct. We are pledging, Executive Mayor, I'll be knocking in your office. You know, we collaborate. This auditorium should be named after Mama Charlotte Maxeke. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mpangalasan. By the time you passed the 3-minute mark, I knew you were a doctor for sure, because doctors love to speak. All right, thank you very much for that message of support. I would like to call upon MEC Ramokgopa to come and also deliver a message of support. A big round of applause, please.
Distinguished guests, it is an absolute honor to be able to stand here and be with you this evening and deliver this message of support at this remarkable occasion. I must say, though, I feel wholly unqualified to be standing at this podium. I feel like my name is Shotaka DR or Prof or something, but I must say I'm not intimidated. I'm actually inspired by this evening, and I will commit in front of this room of people that one day that will be the case. Let me begin by commending the Charlotte Mannya-Maxeke Institute, led by yourself, Chairperson Makhanya, for this powerful platform that you have created for us. This reminds us that remembering in itself is not enough. We must act, we must build, and we must continue the journey that Ms. Charlotte Maxeke started over a century ago. Mam Charlotte was not only a woman of firsts, the first black South African woman to graduate with a university degree. She was a woman of purpose, a woman of courage, a woman of vision, like so many women in this very room today. She showed us that education is not merely about personal achievement. It is a tool of liberation, if not the most powerful tool of liberation. It is a means of lifting as we rise and a way of bringing others along with us on the journey. And she believed deeply that no victory is complete unless it includes the upliftment of others and of our communities. And that is what all of us should be taking away with us today, because that is the meaning of true leadership. Servant leadership is what we call it today, but indeed it is leadership. So when we speak today of the forgotten graduate, we are not only invoking Mam Maxeke's memory, we are also called to recognize all the other black intellectuals, graduates, and pioneers whose stories were buried by the machinery of colonialism and apartheid. many of whom we've spoken about tonight. Their legacy demands of us that we ask some very important questions of ourselves. What does this moment require of us? With all the education, all the opportunities, all the resources, all the English that we have, what are we doing with that? And how will we ensure that we preserve and build upon their contributions for the advancement and liberation of our people? It is not enough to just be educated if it is not in service of others. So in the department that I have the honor to lead, which is the Gauteng Department of Agriculture and Rural Development, we have pledged to do our bit to continue the work that Umam Charlotte and many others who committed their lives for our advancement began. We are proud to support the work of the Charlotte Maxeke Institute, and we believe that our collaboration goes beyond symbolism. In Kliptown and across Soweto and Joburg South, we are driving a focused agenda of localized food production and sustainable economic growth. Our vision is not just to end hunger, but to ensure that our communities are no longer dependent on systems that exclude them. We are fighting to ensure that our communities can feed and sustain themselves with dignity. We are working closely with the CMMI Institute's Community Garden. And this coming Monday, we'll be hosting a workshop for the 20 women farmers that currently participate and run that garden, empowering them with additional skills to establish their own poultry farming initiative and take it to the next level. And this is not just about farming. It's about creating pathways to self-reliance, to entrepreneurship, to resilient and sustainable communities. It's about reclaiming our agency and reclaiming our communities from the scourge of degradation, drug abuse, and idleness. It's about creating systems of opportunity that will endure long after we are gone. And this is what it means, we believe, to start the journey of walking in Mannya-Maxeke's shoes. In closing, I'd like to thank the CMMI Institute for keeping Mannya-Maxeke's spirit alive through this lecture and through the work you are doing. I remember when I met you, Dr. Makanya, just a couple months ago at the Institute. I was absolutely blown away and in awe of your passion, but also the way in which you have elevated the story of Mannya-Maxeke, the people that you are able to convene and bring together around this common mission. I know a movement when I see one. There is one brewing right now in this room. I can feel it in my bones. So I'd like to commend you also on your bold vision of the Girls' School of Excellence and the Agri-City Agricultural College and Research. Just hearing about this, as you can see, makes my heart explode. It extends Mannya-Maxeke's vision into the future by creating those pathways for young people, especially women, to lead through education, entrepreneurship, and research. We at the Gauteng Department of Agriculture and Rural Development look forward to strengthening our collaboration, and we pledge wholeheartedly our support towards this initiative. Let us not only remember her tonight, but let us continue her journey together. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable MEC Ramokgopa. A big round of applause for her, please. Thank you. I would like to invite our last message of support. And I must admit, I was very tempted to say, TG, MEC Ramokgopa has spoken on behalf of the Ramokgopas. However, I will have to call the Treasurer General of the ANC, Dr. Ramokgopa, to the podium. A big round of applause for her.
I think it's obvious that I was negotiating for the time. I was given 15 minutes, but I learned I only have 5. It's okay. I think we've had great contributions, and indeed, this is a great event in honor of Mayor Charlotte Mannya-Maxeke. I want to extend my greetings to the Minister of Higher Education. I want to say that you are one of my fans, and you must remember that we do make mistakes, and the main issue and the bigger issue of ethical and credible leadership is to acknowledge when a mistake has been made and take corrective action working with others. And thank you for providing that kind of leadership. Thank you. I would also like to acknowledge my dear sister, MEC Ramokgopa, thank you very much. You're also doing a very sterling job, especially in ensuring that the agriculture sector is not considered as a dying sector, but as a sector for food and health security, and also important for the future of our country. I want to acknowledge also my sister, the executive mayor of the city of Tshwane, and thank you very much. I used to be called to come and clean up my township in the past era before you, because it used to be known as the cleanest township, one of the cleanest townships in the country. But under some other leadership, for almost 10 years, cleaning was not possible, and we had to come in with many others who we call friends of and servants of Atteridgeville to come and clean up from time to time. And thank you, it's now clean again. Please keep up the good work, working with your team. I want to also extend my greetings to all excellencies who are here, heads of missions, ambassadors, and all the esteemed guests, especially those that are scientists, intellectuals, professionals, and all protocols observed, and ladies and gentlemen, the media that is here, and most importantly, the Charlotte Maxeke Institute leadership, and I want to single out Mr. Thulasizwe Makanya, who I don't know how many times has been visiting me, and many of you calling, persuading, and sending very vibrant young people around him, men and women who really want to enliven the spirit of Mayor Charlotte Mannya-Maxeke, and indeed you are succeeding. We can see it coming alive. We can see it revitalized, and coming with it are the spirits of other pioneers, the spirits of others who indeed realize that there is no such a thing as glass ceilings. I've still yet to come across a glass ceiling in my path. That if you have vision, if you have faith, you can achieve whatever you set your heart and heart work towards. So thank you very much for being tenacious. I found no other words to express your spirit and attitude other than tenacity. Please keep it up, And also keep it up for others as well, not only Charlotte Maxeke, because you also invited me to support Banyana as they were going to the World Cup and calling South Africans to remember that Charlotte Maxeke would have been there to support them and to speak on their behalf, to say they need more than they have heard. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is really an immense privilege for me to stand before you, especially after the presentation from the Minister of Higher Education, our Minister, Dr. Nobuhle Ngabane, and the MEC now, and also the Executive Mayor and other esteemed dignitaries that were here to really, really support this noble goal of remembering, linking us up with those that were pioneers, and in particular here at the Innovation Hub. The Innovation Hub was established by the Gauteng government to be a center of scientific research to resolve the challenges that we were solving, but also to inspire hope. The Innovation Hub was supposed to, or was envisaged as the Silicon Valley of South Africa. And that is why it is also placed in this knowledge hub close to the CSIR and other institutions of knowledge creation. So it is not by coincidence that this event of celebrating the 125th anniversary of Charlotte Maxeke's graduation is held here. A woman who is, as we've heard, the first woman to have a science degree, which degree she used, education and knowledge she used to advance the liberation and the development of her society and her people. Charlotte Maxeke, as described, you can refer to her as a spiritual, ethical, compassionate pioneer, an activist for justice, an artist as well, an intellectual par excellence, an internationalist, and a visionary. Wherever she went, she left institutions. And that's why we have the Wilberforce Institute. And wherever she went, she inspired both men and women. And that's why she was an advisor to one of the chiefs, King Dalinyebo, when it was not fashionable for women to be advisors to chiefs. It was also not by coincidence or by accident that she was an inspiration for the establishment of the African Methodist Episcopal Church, AME Church, after the Parliament of the then colonial era ruled that black people cannot be full members of the Dutch Reformed Church. Those that were in South Africa took inspiration from her when she was already, before she came back home, when she was in the United States, inspired by the civil rights movement. We can say that she was a woman of faith, in line and in keeping with Hebrews 11 verse 1, which indicates that now faith is a substance of things hoped for and an evidence of things to come. We, including being a Treasurer General of the African National Congress, it is the substance of her faith. That's why we're here. Having many, many more black and African and women in general graduates, it's a substance of what she had hoped for. The 70th anniversary of the Freedom Charter we celebrate, as well as the signing of our Constitution that we celebrate today in particular. It is a substance of what she hoped for and an evidence of what has become. The life of Charlotte Maxeke like many others that we have shared here and that I have also in my speech that I'll not go through, remind us that there is nothing, especially for our young people, that must stand before you and the aspirations for your own advancement and that of your family and the society around you. If you put your mind at it, if you believe in your capabilities and that you're not a child that you don't have, you're not a child that is forgotten and of a lesser God, then you can achieve what you set yourself to. There are just two that I want to raise to inspire you, and that is Dr. Mannya-Maxeke, who was the first black South African woman to achieve a PhD in computer science. And the second is Mhlangabezi Mdujana, who also made history as South Africa's first black observational ocean biogeochemist. And there are many, many more young people since Charlotte Maxeke and Bosoga and others that have shown that if you put your mind at it, you can achieve it. We as South Africa are now putting our mind at economic liberation, at a more shared prosperity, and we need young people, professionals, and leaders that are focused on really turning the endowments that we have as South Africa into real prosperity that is shared. South Africa and Africa can be regarded as the most economically endowed countries in the world. We have what it takes to ensure that every child's family is prosperous, to raise them as confident and also as prosperous, as successful as it is possible. So let's put our focus, our minds on that. And yes, digital economy is critical. Artificial intelligence, Internet of Things can bridge the gap between us and the advanced world. It can actually leapfrog Africa, its development, and let us also focus on that to ensure that we do not again wait another century to celebrate progress and to celebrate the seeds, the products of the seeds that Charlotte Maxeke and many others have put. In conclusion, I just want to remind you that Charlotte Maxeke was just an ordinary girl who came from a family that was living in Botlokwa, a place called Garamokgopa. It still remains dusty. It's not long that I've been there. Similarly, the place that Fort Hare, a very inspirational institution, was established during those difficult times, it's still not yet there. So it is still not yet Uhuru. We must build on the progress we've made and mobilize each one of us not to give up. In the past elections, regardless of political parties, more than 60% or almost 60%, 58 point something, 68% of South Africans, almost 60%, did not go out to support the democracy that Charlotte Maxeke helped to create, to build, to fight for. So we hope that we do not become discouraged by the obstacles that we come across as we build our communities. We should actually take those obstacles as an inspiration, or take inspiration from those that manage to tackle obstacles bigger than the ones that we face. And I want to call specifically the middle strata, the professionals, the business people, the entrepreneurs, those in leadership, that we must remember we are there because we have stood on the shoulders of those that were visionary and sacrificed a lot for us to be here and to achieve what we have achieved. It is not yet Uhuru. We need each one of you to take inspiration from these forgotten graduates and to continue building a more just society. Let's remain inspired, and we wish Charlotte Maxeke well. They had an objective of this lecture, which we thank the Minister for the inspiration. They also had an objective of remembering others, which we have done. And they also have an objective of calling on you to contribute to this legacy. And we hope that many of you, before you leave, you will leave your contacts, or you'll take their contacts and you'll follow up and support them. They struggle. Many community projects struggle because we are too focused on surviving as individuals, and it's almost impossible. We need to build organizations like Charlotte Maxeke did. We need to support community initiatives, and we need to have this engagement between the policy leaders, those in government, those that are in institutions of knowledge, and hopefully these are not ivory towers, but they do translation research, research that will respond to the needs of today. So be inspired as young people. Take the experience of this younger generation then that were able, without the digital technologies and resources that you have, to achieve beyond measure. Ordinary people achieving extraordinarily. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Me Ramokhopa, TG. At some point, I asked myself, Mara mama neridumalane, that we're going to take 5 minutes. Then I remembered I can't expect mama to keep money and also keep time. It's unfair. Yeah. All right. At this point, I would like to invite Uchair, Ubaba Thulasizwe Makhanya. And I must say that I did have a word with him that he shouldn't speak as long as his height. So if he does, actually mean like it's not me, hey?
Because of height, I have to take it up a little bit. Our program director, I think she deserves a round of applause, please. This lady, she's the youngest PhD holder in Africa. And she's the ambassador of our 125th anniversary celebration of Mannya-Maxeke's graduate. Before I start, I just want to first express our gratitude for the support that PPS has given us, and also for them to believe in this vision. Thank you so much, Ms. Ayanda Siboni and the team. I would like to then also, they've got a prize, a lucky draw prize. You know, in townships and villages, you'll find people celebrating before even announcing who's the winner. And I'll say, the winner is, and then, yes, someone, that one is my friend. So this one was clean. The lucky draw winner is Setulego Matebesi. I'll kindly request that Ayanda should come forward to hand over this prize. Is she around? Or he around? I don't know. Let me repeat the name. Say Tulejo Matebesi. Oh, so it's going to our office then. The lucky draw winner is CMMI. Honorable Minister, we highly appreciate the support and also your presence this evening. We look forward to a healthy working relationship with your department. The warm welcome that we got from your department and the spirit that we're getting from your team is highly appreciated. Her worship, the mayor, is still around. We're happy. This is the most energetic mayor in the country, by the way. We also look forward to having this working relationship with your municipality. We also have taken a conscious decision as an institute to do more events here. We've got what we call Walk with Maxeke on the 18th of October. We commemorate her day of passing, which is the 16th of October. So that weekend, we have a walk, a 5-kilometer walk. We promote healthy lifestyle, but also we'll want to create a networking culture through the walk. So we look forward to you leading this important initiative. We also would like to also thank the daughter of the soil from Butlokwa, who shares the family roots with Mannya-Maxeke, the TG of the African National Congress. She's a woman first, by the way. She was the first TG, woman TG, after 100 years. Mannya-Maxeke was the only woman in the room when the ANC was formed. She was the woman of first in many spheres. She brought the AME Church to this country and also in the region of Southern Africa. She started a women organization in 1918, Band Women's League, a forerunner of the ANC Women's League. She led the march in 1913 against the colonial rule. That was in Bloemfontein. So she was a leader not only of women, but leader of society. Thank you for the support and the kind words, TG. I nearly said Comrade TG. TG. Also, the Honorable MEC. They are not related, by the way, I've been told. MEC Ramakgopa and the support that she has given us. We're doing some agriculture program in Kliptown, the last home of Maxeke. And they've given us some support. And we look forward also to growing this support and taking our vision and our dreams to the next level. Especially as Dr. Zanele Matsane has presented something that can elevate your department, the Agri-City. Our host, CEO, thank you so much, my brother, for hosting us this evening. And also, what we have just presented here, that this space that we are in will be named after our great-grandmother and our icon, Mannya-Maxeke. Thank you so much. To all the university representatives that are here this evening, there can be no better home to house this legacy project than the universities. So as an institute, we would want to create a platform where we further discuss the 2026 initiative. How do we honor this icon in a true sense? One of the things that the team has suggested, of which was shared with you already, was a special belt to honor Mannya-Maxeke next year. and we will further engage to find each other and see how best we can work together moving forward. Thanks very much for coming this evening. And also, this evening, we also have a representative of the biggest university in South Africa, UNISA. She was not part of the panelists. Professor Sechano is here. We really appreciate her participation as our guest. Author of The Beauty of the Heart, Zoops. Thanks very much for preserving the name through the power of the pen. You have done some great work, and you inspired us to even move a step up and start this institute. So we really appreciate the work that you have done. What she didn't mention here, that Zubeida will be with 24 publishers. They will be donating 200 books to us as an institute. Those books will then be given to the community of Butlokwa. So we hope that the Ramahopa sisters that are here will be part of the journey. To all the families of the forgotten graduate, especially the Velagazi family that is here with us tonight, we highly appreciate that you have given us permission to further highlight the legacies of these icons. Thank you very much. And other families that are here representing the icons or stalwarts, we really appreciate that. And we look forward to unearthing, or let me say, celebrating more graduates, forgotten graduates, as we move forward. Thanks very much. To all our esteemed guests, I want to take this opportunity to thank everyone that is here for coming. This is not only about the special guest, it's about everyone that is here. And we really appreciate, and we hope that we'll move together to the biggest celebration next year. Keep on supporting us, and we think that with you on board, you will be the wind beneath our vision and dreams. Thank you so much. We have students here from Pretoria Boys. They should stand up so that they can see that we're also planting the seed. Young boys from Pretoria Boys. Thanks for coming, young boys. We invited all the schools, by the way, in Pretoria. The girls' high school, the Mace, and others, but they didn't pitch up. So in the future, through the partnership, we'll be able to have more young people coming to this event, because this should be celebrated mainly by the young people so that they can be inspired. Also in this room, there are also important guests from Kliptown. Our mama from Kliptown are here with us. If they can just stand up so that they can see that there are people that represent the last home of Mannya-Maxeke. Thanks. Our mama, they are, as per presentation ka MEC earlier on, that they are running a program called Charlotte Maxeke Community Farmers. So we've got what we call a community garden in Kliptown. They are the beneficiaries of that initiative. Main focus, food security. We want to graduate now to commercial side of farming. But through the support of the MEC here, we know that we're going to achieve that. Thank you so much. Part of the Mama also, there are other women that are being trained to start businesses under the auspices of bring up startup hub. So we're training also our mama from Kliptown to start businesses, sustain, grow, and be able to draw salary from the businesses. The international community that is part of this event, high commissioners and the ambassadors, heads of mission. Charlotte Maxeke was an internationalist. So it is important that you become part of what we do as we spread the message to the world, especially moving to 2026 celebration. Thanks for coming. I highly appreciate. Last but not least, program director. I want to call to the stage the CMMI team, and so that you can see who are these people who have done and who have delivered this event. Refilwe and Kimberly, Tembo Wake, Simpiwe, Dr. Matsane, Professor Musa Wenkosi, so this is the team that has made this event successful. A young team, but bold, and these are visionaries. I only mention 125 as a milestone next year. They are the one that compiled the document. They are the one that created this whole idea of countdown. So please give them the round of applause. Supported by myself, and there is my better half here somewhere. Where is she? So this is the team that is taking us forward to 2026. They want you to come forward. Yeah, so this is the team. A round of applause once again. Can you please also support us by buying some books outside our merchandise? We have big visions, we have big dreams, but we will achieve them through your support. We appeal to everyone to join us as we move to 2026. We're not only looking for financial support. Even bringing ideas to this will help us. So please, as we move forward, contact us through our website. We can take numbers from these ladies, but it should be only strictly work related. I know that there is a bar that side, you know, and I know that after some few visits, people will then see it differently, that diamond. Tata my chance. Yeah, thanks very much. Food will be served. I'll hand over to our program director and Kimball to tell us what next in terms of where do we get our food. We can buy drinks when you're just out of this venue. You can buy books, merchandise. Zubeda's book also is available outside there. Yeah, so. No, thanks very much, and good night. Oh, can we have a photo session with the speakers? And I've requested a professor from Forte, the VC. There's a special relationship between VC and us, because Mannya-Maxeke was born few kilometers from Forte, in Fort Beaufort. So we will want to also amplify our work in all areas that are related to the name in the future. Thank you so much. Can we move forward for photos session with all our guests and the families? Yeah, thanks.